Wild Jobs Namibia with Rudy and Marlies is proudly sponsored by Windhoek Lager.
Namibia, land of the brave. Brave men and women who dedicate their lives to protecting a country of harsh terrain, ancient cultures and vulnerable wildlife. Namibian conservationists Dr. Rudy and Marlies van Vuren are on a mission to travel the length and breadth of Namibia to meet these intrepid individuals and to witness the incredible work they undertake on a daily basis. These are the unsung heroes of Namibian conservation, and these are their wild jobs.
Baby from Windhoek. I estimate him roughly a month old. And it's been a very long drive from Windhoek because he doesn't sit still. And his mommy was shot, and he comes from the north of Namibia, been with people for a little while. And he's going to have a surprise of his life because he thinks he's human. So he's going to see other baboons speaking his language. And I need to get him out of that filthy nappy and give him a proper bottle of milk. Take this dirty nappy off, but you can have your titty bottle first. And then we're gonna go and see if you can find friends in that baby group, huh? Yeah. He can make friends or they will reject him out of the group. But we're hoping that there's a female, young female, that will take him. And if not, then we will just continue this process every day till he's accepted back in that group. Nee. Tired little boy. Okay. Kijk hier, kijk. Ai, wat je graag. Oh, is hij een beetje bang? Daar. Oké. Kom ons trek gou jou doek eers uit. Hou jy van hierdie dingetjie? Wie is hierdie? Dis 'n nuwe papa. Oei.
Osie is the leader of the baby troop and eager to meet the new arrival.
Kykie, wat is hier? Ag, klim af. Hou jy van hierdie baba? Hou jy van hierdie baba? Vat hom. Is dit joune? Ek is so bly, want nou het ek nie meer probleme nie. Ousie hou van hom. Klim gou af, vat hom bietjie, laat ons kyk. Gys, dis hy stil. Kan aus.
Osie has adopted the baby.
Is dit joune? So Osie loves him. Everything actually went very, very smooth. Better than I expected. And he's a very independent little boy. So, you guys look after him. I need to go work. Kom. Daddy!
None could see that baboons are divided into different groups according to their ages. In nature, the troop would have been a family, spending their entire lives together.
In captivity, none of these baboons are related. So we try and put them in age groups from 1 to around about 5. So the importance here is to try and get them to be baboons as quick as possible, as young as possible.
In the wild, a male baboon's position in the hierarchy is determined by his size and how well he can fight. With the females, though, it is different.
The social structure are run by females, so we try and just give them freedom. We walk them every day. They get our structure, they get our position in, basically in the Ngakuse structure. So they look at where do I fit in the human social structure, hierarchy, and that's what they will get. So you guys can see it's little ones, it's youngsters, and being naughty.
When baboons groom each other, it serves a few purposes. Firstly, they keep one another clean by removing loose skin, ticks, and fleas. It is also an indication of the social hierarchy of two individuals. The one being groomed is usually the higher ranking.
Kom julle, kom! Kom quick, quick! Kom! Kom kinders! Ai. Nee, kom!
The baboons are taken for walks every day. They are stimulated as they play and forage. This helps them to get rid of their frustrations.
Ai, wat het jou oortjie oorgekom? Asie.
Dis hier, Loes. Daar's plek op al twee. This is Max. He's my little boyfriend. He actually is the alpha male in this group, and the same for him. He's just the biggest and the oldest of all the boys, and he knows how to play his cards with Frikkie, so he gets in her good books. She stands up for him, and it gives him a better status because the alpha female likes him. This female is Frikkie, and she's the alpha female in this young group. The age is from around about 1 to 5 years old. She's a 5-year-old. And she got her status because she's the oldest, she's the strongest, and at her age, the wisest of this whole group. But in the wild, they would get the status of their mum. But unfortunately, all of these baboons are orphaned, so they have to fight their position open. So this is a little fruit. It looks like a tomato when it's ripe. It turns bright yellow. Baboons sometimes eat it, especially the young ones, and then they don't feel so well. They start vomiting and feel a bit down. So Frikkie is not even interested because she's learned the lesson, and she's like, talk to the hand, try it. She's like, don't even try. So the name of this, I really don't know the English name or the Afrikaans name for it. The Bushman name is Ore, and the baboons don't like it. They're not supposed to eat this. Sheila. What's that? So this is like a little kindergarten group that's gone on an outing, swimming at the swimming pools, and they just love it. They love the playfulness. It's a beautiful team-building activity for me too, and just burn all their frustrations of being in captivity the whole time. So this is great. You can see the hierarchy and the social structure, and baboons that never get along because they're playing. So it's important that we actually make them play.
Wild Jobs Namibia with Rudy and Marlies is proudly sponsored by Windhoek Lager. Wild Jobs Namibia with Rudy and Marlies is proudly sponsored by Windhoek Lager.
It is interesting to see how the social structure changes when the different troops are brought together. For example, when they are taken for a walk.
So we're going to take them now for a walk, and they're going to go out with the older group. Baboons is roughly 6 months to 4 years older than most of these little ones. And Osie is the oldest in this group, so she's almost the alpha female, and she runs the social structure in the little group. But the minute they go out and they mix with the older group, the whole social structure change. And the reason for it is she's not the alpha anymore. Grietjie is, and Osie has to give this over. You see a clear indication of that. She's not happy, she has to stand down, and she's not only standing down 2 levels, it's all the way to the bottom. And she makes a big fuss out of it. She's a drama queen, and it's a big fuss. And she cries, and looking for help the whole time. And then all the little ones will be grabbed by the older females and carried around. So it's amazing to see how quickly the older females take leadership, and then there's no more gray areas. Okay, kom ons loop. Kom ons loop maar net. Kom. Ek wil nie daai baba afgee nie. Dis myne. Osie wants to keep her position in her rank. That's why she's holding on to Adwinsi, the little one, the whole time. The minute she gives Adwinsi over, she loses it. And then she falls in as a normal female. At this stage, she's a caretaker and a nanny, which gives her a good position in this big group. So that's why she will keep him. And she's fallen in love with him. She's taken care of him for 24 hours, so it's her baby, so she doesn't want to let go. Kom uit ons loop, kom. Kom uit. Daar sê jy. It's heartbreaking to think that baboons are getting shot, and there's more orphans every day, every year for us. And they have the capabilities of mourning. If you ask me, in my opinion, I would say they are around about a 5-year-old's capacity of thinking and reasoning and mourning. We underestimate the capabilities of baboons. They're actually so close to people that it's actually scary, and it makes my heart so sore to really think that baboons are getting shot. Oh, Shrinky in the front. Ek wil lekker speel daai ding. Shrinky, maar okay, Shrinky was al op. Gaan haal op vir die baba. Oh, he's brave. So Shrinky, she had a brain injury when she came in because she couldn't sit and she couldn't walk. Her depth perception is almost non-existent. And yeah, with all the babies and baboon interaction, she's actually walking quite well now, and she's playful, she loves. The only problem is she bites quite sore because she doesn't realize how sore she can actually bite. But she's doing very well. Shrink. Whoop, whoop. Baboons can be a big problem, especially in Namibia and Southern Africa. And I would always suggest that people keep their pet food locked up. Don't let it stay outside because baboons will they're opportunists and they will go for food in any kind of form. So leave your garbage in the bags inside your yard. Don't put it outside on the street because they will open it. Never ever feed them, because you do it once, they will know there's food and they can identify people with food, and you create a bigger problem. I would suggest on places like Nakuse, where the baboons were first, we were intruding in their habitat. We make sure that there's always good water outside, never any garbage outside, and that we chase them away with a lot of noise. There's electrical fences around all our solar panels, and you have to deal with it, but shooting is not a solution.
Bye.
Gritjie, bring die baba. Bring die baba. Oh, kyk jou mooi baba.
Wild Jobs Namibia with Rudy and Marlies is proudly sponsored by Windhoek Lager. Wild Jobs Namibia with Rudy and Marlies is proudly sponsored by Windhoek Lager.
The troop of adult baboons is indicative of the plight baboons often find themselves in. Many of these were kept as pets when they were still babies, but they grew up and became big and dangerous, and as a result have to be kept in captivity.
This enclosure behind me has 27 baboons in here. These ones are only 8 to 14 years old, and they lose total fear for people. And our problem is these baboons are so strong, has canines longer than leopards. The strength of around about 8 men just in their upper bodies, so they can cause a lot of problems. They can actually kill somebody if it's really needed. This baboon behind me is Bucket. He's around about 8 to 9 years old. So if a baboon is that size, he reaches sexual maturity, he becomes aggressive. There's females with these bright pink butts, and he has to protect his territory and his dominance. He's taken over position from another male called Spock. So there's been a fighting going on. He's got a few scars, battle scars in his face. And that's one of the biggest reasons why we don't release baboons that are tame. They lose total fear for people. Most wild animals become dangerous then because they actually know that they are stronger than us. I have a lot of respect for baboons because if you think about it, their biggest predator is leopards, and one male baboon will take on a leopard. Will you? I don't think so. So I really have a lot of respect for baboons. I'm actually more scared of a fully grown baboon male than of a leopard. These baboons are in a 35 to 40 hectare camp, which is brilliant. They're semi-released, but we still have to feed them in this enclosure. The reason for it, if they stay in this enclosure for another 30 years and we don't feed them anything, we don't have good rainfall, these baboons will destroy everything in here. They will eat everything, they will pull everything out. So we still feed them 120 liters of food. And that is a variety of bananas, oranges, carrots, maize meal. They are very picky, and we have to try and give them a stable diet as far as possible. But one of the big complications also in this enclosure is it's beautiful, they're far away from people, they have a nice social structure in here. But we have to consider, now that we've castrated all these males, the wild troop of baboons come close to them. They see this beautiful female with a pink butt in the inside, and they climb in, and they're the boss, because they can do it. And then we have loads of babies in there. We've actually are lucky that we actually just have one baby born in this enclosure. So now we have to do the females. We have to sedate the females, do a full hysterectomy. The operations are more complicated. Most vets in Namibia has not done that before because it's actually a human. So it's not ideal. We don't want animals in captivity, and it's a very costly thing because we want to give them as much space and freedom and natural environment as possible, but it's still not ideal.
Wild Jobs Namibia with Rudy and Marlies is proudly sponsored by Windhoek Lager.